Doing that. I'm watching Hellier right
Oh, I
now.
was just going to mention that. What do you think of it?
I like it. Of course, I'll save my full review for later on. I like it. I have some reservations about some things.
Uh-huh.
I'm almost like halfway through it, but as in for the second season, I already seen the first season, so it's interesting. I mean, overall, as a paranormal researcher and investigator, et cetera, it really details what we go through.
Yeah.
Who take it seriously, I should say. Who really take this stuff seriously.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm on episode 6, I think, of season 2.
I think that's where I'm at right now. Myself.
Okay, yeah, I'm on I'm on season 6, episode 6, and I'm really enjoying it. And I think that kind of I'm reluctant to call it a reality show. It's more of a documentary.
Yes.
It's really refreshing to watch, and I don't get the BS vibe from it. If you know what I mean.
No, not totally. Not totally for me. Just given certain, I guess my certain cons to it. There's certain things that they do off screen and stuff like that, which I find questionable. But for the most part, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, anyone who's in the field, or anyone who's interested in the field, check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Out of all the documentaries, this is by far the best one.
It's really well done. It's very professionally done. It's phenomenal. Reeves, I know you're watching it. Matthew,
yes.
have you started watching Hellier?
Cue horror music. Well, I've got this evidence here. I've got this evidence. Ding, 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 ding. And, well, I've looked at it for hours. Ding, 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 ding. And I decided there was nothing in the evidence. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, right, okay, fair enough. That's Hellier, but it's good. I have watched it.
He's right. He's kind of right on it a little bit.
God, he's gone damn spoiled it now.
Okay, guys, we have this evidence. What are we going to do with it? Well, I think we should go ahead and put it into the refractive telescope and take a look. What do you think? Okay, bring it over here. Okay, open it up. All right, put it in. Oh, wow, look at that. That's definitely paranormal. Call in. That's definitely paranormal.
Are you getting any vibes from it?
Are we getting any vibes? Hang on. I'm getting possessed.
Keep talking about it, even though we're not getting any vibes.
Yeah. But
keep it going.
Have you seen it though, Matt? Have you watched Hellier?
Yeah. But it's how do they keep the tension going when there's actually nothing that they're talking about in this particular segment? Yeah,
that's true. That's true. But I
fill it in with a bunch of synchronicities and whatnot.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it, I have to say. I'm really
it's an art form. They have actually sort of tried to create. It's an art form. It's like, how do we keep the tension up? It is literally. It's like, if you put a nice piece of music on, then everyone's going to be thinking, oh, this is a nice happy scene. If you put the horror music on, they're thinking, well, actually, I must be believing there's something here just about to happen. And it's like, well, no, it kind of doesn't in many cases. It's kind of a lot of it is kind of just, well, we didn't meet anybody today. This man didn't tell us something, but you listen to the music is going dung 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 dung, like the thing, like the bloody thing in the background. You're like, well, where's the thing going to jump out? When's it going to jump out? It kind of doesn't. 10 minutes later, it's like.
But they have to make it interesting, though, right? Because if it was just normal, regular life, who the fuck is going to watch that?
Well, maybe they're trying to. Technically, that is the first season. If people haven't, caught up with it, that's kind of where my whole thing was. Like the first season, I was like, this is what we were. This is what we watched. And I was a little let down. I enjoyed it, as Reeves is mentioning here, about the cinematography, the way they kind of, wrap everything together. But it was like, oh, so when I took the first season, I took it as, this is what we do. Because there's been numerous cases where I'll go out myself, do all this research, 5-hour drives, stuff like that. And there's nothing. And that's what the first season indicated for me, was just basically represent at least what we deal with.
The first season for me was, you had to watch all the episodes to understand the last episode.
Yeah.
Because the last episode, the first season was a lead up to the last episode. The last hour or whatever that last episode was, that was the pinnacle of you had to watch all of the episodes to understand what was. Everything was a culmination of that last episode.
Well, the beginning of the show, when I first episode 1, season 1, when they were going after that goblin thing, I was like, this is fucking stupid. I was gonna bail on it. I was like, a fucking goblin? This is a bunch of fucking retards. But it wasn't really about that. It kind of it went way beyond that, and by episode 2 or 3, it was really, really interesting.
But the last episode,
it still was.
What?
1 was, I think, for me, it all kind of started, and I think that's what season 2 is going to do. I think for me,
it's going to culminate.
Episode 1 now, and I think that as it goes on, that it's going to. Because you see that little, I don't know. I mean, you see that clip. He's in. He goes to those coordinates, and he's in the field, and he sees a helicopter. He says, "Oh no, they know I'm here."
Yeah.
That
was the one. I just watched that one last night.
Yeah, I haven't got there yet.
Yeah, but it's. I think. What's that, Matt?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say perhaps a homage to your last guest. Miles was apparently on, but I kind of just tell you like some of the experiences I've had when I've taken mushrooms or acid and things like that. It's kind of like, everything takes significance. Mm-hmm. Everything becomes important.
Right.
Everything is part of the coincidence. And that tree over there is definitely sending me vibes.
Uh-huh.
It definitely is. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling it. It's definitely real. There's definitely something here, and I know, even though it seems like I shouldn't go on, and we've asked everybody, is there something happening? And they're going, well, no, there's not, but I know that deep down, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm just about to give up, but I know another significance has happened, so therefore it's all justified, so I carry on. And that's kind of the vibe I'm on. I mean, I kind of, I know where they're coming from with the, what they're kind of going for, but I think it is very real, like you said, Justin. It's kind of telling you that paranormal research is not as exciting as you might like to think it is.
Right.
It doesn't happen like on some of these shows where every single time they go to a place they get a hit.
No,
so it's
paranormal research.
It's a slog.
Paranormal research in reality is boring as fuck. Because nothing happens. Well, I wouldn't say nothing, but it's very rare for stuff to happen. Obviously, stuff does happen occasionally, but it's the exception rather than the rule.
Yeah. And when you're doing the research, what you dig up, if anything, is these paths. You might validate something you picked up, and it's like, oh, let me go to a historical society, or let me go to the library, look up, about the town or something. You're like, that was there, and there's stuff like that you really what the show is
really about, though, from my perspective. It's about synchronicity, right? It's about meaningful coincidences, things that kind of click together and make sense. And that's something that most everyone can relate to, because we all have synchronicities in our lives from time to time.
But you from Hollywood have missed the biggest obvious point of it all.
What's that?
I mean, isn't it about cinematography and how to carry a story when there isn't very much of a story?
It's beautifully done. I mean, obviously these people, they're professionals. The way it's filmed, the way it's put together, the lighting, the color saturation, it's a work of art. It's beautiful.
How the hell do they make a Canon camera? Like they shoot it with DSLRs, like Canon D50s and things like that. It's like, how the hell do you make that look that good?
Well, they have a mixture. They have a mixture of equipment. They do have the DSLRs, like you're saying. They use those. They also use their phones, but they also have some very high end cameras, also like cinema grade cameras, like Arias or Reds. They're using those
Hollywood.
Also. Yeah.
Kyle Pfeiffer, who's the director of that, he actually was part of Ghost Hunters International, or Ghost Hunters the school season or whatever.
Yeah.
And they hooked up with him, and that's kind of where some of this came going. I followed these guys since I was probably 16, 17.
Really?
So I know these guys personally.
No shit.
Oh, I don't know Carl. I know Greg and Dana before they were even married. So I've been following them since they were Ghost Hunters Inc. That's what they were called. And
no way.
I even told Greg. I told him. I was like, you know what? Because I even told I had some reservations about it. I said, but overall, I enjoy it. I like it.
Yeah.
And this is literally everything they've been doing for years, because it's kind of what they've been doing. Following them, they've been involved with paranormal reality shows with many of the characters from there. And so they've kind of been gradually moving up. So it's taken this long to even get to have this documentary, because they have at least three other documentaries that they did, which were kind of in the same vein, but it's more of like a comedic observation. Like, okay, I can't remember the Bigfoot one, but they followed this guy they met who was looking for Bigfoot either in Washington, I want to say. And that's the whole documentary. It's following this guy's life.
Yeah.
So it's still in the same vein of this is what we do. We're following, clues and claims, and, here's a person here, and they're just showing it to us. Except for this time, they're more on a serious note than the last few. So for me, when I watch this, it's like I'm watching like a whole history of these guys, as well as my perspective of them and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to see them come this far after literally 15-something years, more 20-something years.
It's amazing. Just to follow up quickly from Matt's question about the camera equipment, if you want to know what they use, if you go to the Hellier website, hellier.tv, and you go to like the About section, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes photographs of them filming the interviews and stuff, and you can see they have some pretty high-end equipment. But it's a mixture of everything. They use the DSLRs, they use their phones, they use high-end equipment. It's basically whatever they have on them at the time, if they're out and about, that they're going to be filming. But the set pieces where it's just a talking head where they're relating stuff like, well, I remember when we walked into and all that stuff. Those scenes are all done with pretty high-end equipment. Yeah, it's a tremendously well-done show, really well put together. And I think, and of course I could be wrong, but the feeling I get from watching it is that what we're seeing, even though it's very contrived and it's very put together in a story form, I think what we're seeing is real. I don't think they're manufacturing the emails that they're getting and the places that they're going and all that stuff. I think that's real, but there is a structure to it. Obviously they film hundreds of hours of footage. And then edit it down into a cohesive storyline, right? So you have 100 hours of video, and maybe you edit that down to 4 or 5 hours, just to make that story.
I have to disagree with you.
Okay,
I'm sorry, sir.
No, that's fine.
Because they are shooting on DSLRs.
Oh yeah, no, they are absolutely.
But they've got big expensive prime lenses on them, but that isn't everything. The lens isn't really everything. I mean, it's literally they are shooting. It looks like on Canons, Canon DSLRs.
It's also post-production as well, man. And it filters. I mean, filters can make a big difference.
That's the thing. I mean, they are processing the hell out of that footage to make it look that good. You just do not get sexy looking stuff off a DSLR. No. It does not look that good. Yeah, you have to noise clean it, you have to grade it, and it's kind of they've spent so much time behind the scenes, like editing this.
Oh, stuff. I'm sure. And I mean,
I can see why it looks as polished as it does because they've spent the time on it. But no, I'm not seeing any. I'm not seeing any.
Are you looking at the pictures?
Yeah.
Hang on, I got.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any ARRI equipment or any reds or anything.
I looked at it the other day.
On the cheap.
Yeah.
I'm even seeing Panasonics, Panasonic G5s and G4s. Yeah.
Where is it at? Yeah,
I wish I could make my Panasonic G4 look like that. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm looking at it. No, you're right. Yeah. No,
good for them.
You're
good for them.
Right.
I mean, it's showing what you can do if you can kind of, spend the time with the plugins and all that afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, and the image quality is it's beautiful. It is. It's cinema grade for sure. It's beautifully shot, beautifully lit. They know what the fuck they're doing, no question.
Oh yeah. But it's definitely pumped up like some sort of like a ghost movie. It's almost I'm expecting like one of these paranormal movies, like sort of where the ghosts are kind of like throwing things around the room, but it's like as if it's done on a like a home scale, and it's like, but then you get the next level movie, which is kind of like they had the what was it? The Blair Witch Project was shot on the cheap. It looked like cheap. Yeah. And then they went to the next one where they did the same thing, but they made it look nice, like cinematic. Yeah. It's kind of like they've gone to that level where they've made it look cinematic, but you're expecting the ghost. You're expecting the kind of like around the corner, there's going to be the Bigfoot. We're going to catch it. But
so
there's never quite that moment. It's just it's like a critique of life as a paranormal investigator.
Are you gonna get these guys on your show?
I should. I've been thinking about it after either the review or before. I know they've been pretty busy lately, so I most definitely want to catch up. It's been a while, to be honest with you.
If you do get them on the show, please invite me as a guest.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Most definitely, after finishing the season doing that, I'm probably going to have a more collective, understanding of what's really going on with the whole series. So, And one of the biggest things I want to talk about, especially with them, is the experiments that they did.
Dude, those experiments with the whole the spirit box and the at the end of season 1 with the spirit box, that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And the one they did with the they call it the God helmet.
The God helmet by Dr. Michael Person.
That was amazing.
At least version of the God helmet.
The communication that they received. I mean, when you think about it, because you got those spirit boxes just scanning frequencies like crazy and just spitting out words and phrases, right? And you got the guy with headphones on and blindfolded, and all he hears is the spirit box. And whenever he hears a word or a phrase, he's going to say it verbally. And they were asking questions, and he was responding to their answers.
Yeah.
It was mind-blowing.
Yes.
Really good. Amazing.
Not a scientific experiment, though.
What's that?
Not a scientific experiment.
No. I mean, it wasn't under controlled conditions or anything like that. But it was very, very interesting. And once again, I could be wrong, but I didn't get the BS vibe.
No, not totally. Not totally. There's quite a bit of real truth going on there.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess, how they apply certain things to fit that narrative is where I kind of. Okay. Yeah, that's where I kind of okay. I guess you can fit that together, and that's really kind of for me. But besides all that, the experiments, the overall story that they're trying to do is where it really comes down and kind of shines the light on it.
So, Matt, when are you going to make your documentary series called Wiltshire?
Well, one man in his bedroom. Yeah, that kind of like the 360 camera making it look like it's the size of a gymnasium in here. I gotta fit everything in here. Yeah,
it could be. I could do the voiceover, dude. On the next episode of Wiltshire.
Matt moves from one side of his room to the other. No.
Matt takes the dog for a walk and interacts with the public.
No. On the next episode of Wiltshire, Matt's ghost sniffing angel dog sniffs a ghost.
Matt's ghost sniffing.
Ghost sniffing dog.
She'd probably piss on them, right? My dog would piss on them, right? She'd be like, "Here's one," and piss on it, because that's what my dog is really good at doing. She's like good at pissing on things.
Pissing on things.
And,
there you go.
Yeah, like she. Yeah, we won't go there, but she pisses a lot. Let's just put it like that. Yeah.
I know that. I know that feeling for real.
Yeah.
On the next episode of
one thing
Wiltshire.
I found out about that program that I was like, I didn't know if I was watching, because I don't know the characters involved, and I've never, sort of seen the background. Like, Justin's obviously knows these guys. I was like watching. I'm like, this is on Prime, Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking this is shot really well, and I'm thinking this is not real. This is a fictional thing. That something's going to happen, and they're kind of like drawing us out. But I'm like, but it's very long and drawn out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's the kind of punchline? I'm like, what's going to happen here? And it's almost like an exercise in tension. It's an exercise in cinematic tension.
Yeah.
They haven't given you anything, but they're keeping you tense.
Mm-hmm.
So from that point of view, I was like, is this real?
Yeah.
I'm like, is this actually real? And then I rang a friend up and I said, I've been watching this thing called Hellier. He goes, oh, it's really good, isn't it? And I'm like, well, yeah, it is, but I hate to ask you this. Is it real? He was like, yeah, it is actually. It's real. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, like, I was just thinking, are these people... Where's the punchline? Where's the punchline?
Oh, I think it's all very real. I don't get the BS vibe at all from it. And what they also did, Matt, I don't know if you know this, but they put it on Amazon Prime for like 3 weeks, and on Friday they released the entire series in full HD on YouTube.
Oh wow! So you can just watch it.
So anyone, you don't need Prime. Anyone can just go to YouTube, type in Hellier, and every episode is right there. Boom.
Yeah.